Hello, friends. Welcome back to Love Wrestling. Spencer Love with another one of my favorites. I say it every time. I'm a very lucky guy to get to chat to some great people in pro wrestling. The first lady of professional wrestling today, a brand new addition to the Ring of Honor board of directors, and the mama bear of the ROH locker room, Maria Kanellis-Bennett. I was telling you before this, it is surreal to be talking to you. I'm sure it's almost cliche by this point. I grew up watching you wrestle. I've been lucky enough to see you perform in person. So to be sitting across and having the opportunity to chat with you today is so cool. Thank you for the time. And how are you doing?
Thank you. I'm wonderful. Thank you very much.
Good to hear. Obviously, you got to be good when so much cool shit's going on with Ring of Honor right now, and yourself especially. Like I mentioned, you're a recent addition to the board of directors, so there aren't a lot of women, and I want to talk about some who are doing sort of a pseudo or a semblance of what you're doing as well, but maybe give me a look inside what you are doing on a day-to-day basis. You've talked about scouting talent, but what else goes into it on your end?
So it's a little bit of everything. Some of it, of course, is putting out fires of, oh, this person needs a flight and this person needs this travel or whatever, that kind of stuff. But it's a lot of scouting talent, which is interesting right now because there aren't a lot of shows running, but there's a lot of wrestling on YouTube. So I spend a lot of time researching that. But then I also, I stalk people on their social media because I think you tell a lot about a person by what they stand for, which is very important in the Ring of Honor locker room. It always has been. There's a reason why there's a code of honor in Ring of Honor. So, there's a lot of that as well. Moving towards the tournament, we're starting to select the girls that will actually be in the tournament, which, that's a lot of finding who is the right fit, the most talented, who's available, who's willing to travel right now. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff. But then there's also the fun moments too, where I've been doing these Zoom calls and telling the girls, like, you're going to be in the tournament. And that's my favorite part of my job. I used to be on the receiving end of those opportunities, and I still am, in the sense that Ring of Honor gave me this opportunity. I'm very appreciative of that. But now I'm able to give opportunities back, which is really just so much fun.
Yeah, it's not as though they haven't made the effort before for their women's division. Obviously, the tournament getting canceled last year was a huge blow as far as that goes, but you're really in a new position as far as it goes. How have you enjoyed getting your feet wet as far as it goes? I would have to assume it's much different than being your traditional on-screen talent, as I know you're still doing, but a little bit of apples and oranges?
You know what? In a lot of ways it is, because you have to not take it as and I don't want to be at this point in my career either. I'm not the center of attention. I'm doing this. I'm holding them all and giving the platform to them, but I'm not the most important key to this puzzle or piece to this puzzle. So for me, it's just it's making sure that is a very stable platform that everybody is performing on. And so it is apples to oranges in that sense. There's also, now I look at my on-screen job differently too, because my on-screen job isn't to promote myself. It's to promote everyone else. It's to make sure that they are seen in the best light. So whether it's commentary or I have backstage interviews with these girls or promos and things like that, it's all about them. And so that is very different, and it's a great place to be. It's where I want to be in my career. It's fun. And it's also challenging in the sense that, how can I help in the best way possible? How can I make this person, whatever their character is or their personality is, how can I make them feel comfortable in being the very best them? So it's different in that sense. And I love it.
Yeah. You even look at some of the women you've recruited thus far. Obviously, Vita Von Star was there prior, but like that fatal four-way you guys had on the first women's division Wednesday. I was listening to an interview and I keep wanting to say Walt Disney World because that's what you compare WDW to. So excuse me when it inevitably happens.
I'm like, oh no.
So excuse me when it inevitably happens.
WDW, because you don't want to like get into copyright problems. Like that's too much.
No, so excuse me again when it inevitably happens, and Mr. and Mrs. Disney, please don't call me for copyright stuff. But even the Fatal Four Way you guys had a couple of weeks ago, like you look at Lainey Luck and Roxy and Max the Impaler, like it's not like you guys have like your proverbial cookie cutter pro wrestler. Like, what do you look for when you're looking for a talent? Is it as simple as these are talented wrestlers, or is there an X factor you're looking for in all of these women you're trying to recruit?
All of it. There is. Do you see potential? Because some people are very new to the industry, but you see such a huge potential in them. Is it their experience in the industry? I mean, someone like Sumi, her experience is invaluable. The places that she's been, the people she's been in the ring with, like you can't compare that to anyone else in the industry right now. So, there are very different qualities. It's the very best of the very best. So whether you're looking at the very best of the new up and coming girls, or the very best of the veterans, or the very best as the more technical wrestlers, or the very best of the high flyers, or the luchas, it's the very best. Yeah. It's the spark. It's the how well you promote yourself, in the sense that, do you really believe in what you're doing? Because that's self-promotion. Because if you believe it, somewhere down the road, it might get there. And then that's very interesting too. So it's not one thing, it's a million things. The most important thing with Ring of Honor is it's all about sport. So the matches, especially when we get into the tournament, are going to get just incredible to watch, very athletic. And we're looking for that, of course.
Quinn McKay, talk to me a little bit about her, because you mentioned obviously the best high flyers, the best mat wrestlers, the best everything, including obviously the best backstage interviewer in the game today. She's a bit of a wild card as far as it goes. I know she's wrestled before, done a great job of that, but this will be her official Ring of Honor in-ring debut. What do you think she's going to bring? And then just take me through the experience of working with her on the backstage end.
So one thing that Quinn said to me that really has stuck with me is when she says she's going to do something, she does it, and she does it 200%. And you can see that with how she is in her backstage interviewing. You can see it when she's training, when she's been preparing for this match, her devotion to the craft, the way that she studies it while she's in the gym. So her integrity is going to be all the difference in the world. And sometimes that pure will make up for years of experience. And that is what I really admire about her. That's what makes her stand out. Working with her backstage as an interviewer, it's like I'm going back to school in a lot of ways. She's such a natural. She's so she's quick-witted, and she's highly intelligent, and she pays attention to what everybody is doing and where they want to go, whether it be their character or what titles they want to go. She can keep all that information in her very tiny shell. So I admire that. I definitely admire that.
It might be a bit awkward for you to have to put yourself over to such a high degree coming here, but it sounds like there are a lot of comparables as far as your career goes with that, right? Like you've wrestled, you've recorded an FNEP, you've backstage interviewed, you're now event planning, and you're on the board of directors. Like, how cool is it for you now that you've been in this for 17, 18 years to really see the fruits of your work? Even in your earlier interviews, you've said you're there to lift people up. You said it earlier in this interview. How cool is it to see the real fruits of your labor taking effect as far as that goes?
It's very strange. But everything takes 100 decisions to get to where that place is. That destination is millions of tiny little decisions that you make along the way. So, it's nice to be one of those tiny decisions, one of those pieces to the puzzle. So it's cool to see. I'm so excited to see so many women out there now trying to get in positions of management.
Mhm.
within the wrestling industry, really being a voice for women's wrestling. I think that is going to be the next chapter in the women's wrestling story, is not only the on-screen talent, but now the behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not to discredit any work that like Stephanie had done in the '90s or people who had previously come, but you've talked about Gail Kim, rightfully so, and Brandy and Madison Rain, and now obviously yourself. Like, it is really that next generation of the women's evolution. Who were some people you maybe looked up to on the business side of things? Working with Joe Koff's got to be incredible, but there are a lot of incredible minds in pro wrestling, obviously.
Yeah, and you take a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I mean, Paul Heyman, of course, he's a genius in this industry. I love how he can make everyone look their very best.
Yeah,
Uh, he ignores the flaws. Like, everyone's got flaws. He just ignores
yeah.
those. And he just goes straight and hones in on what are you the best at. And that is probably like, that's the biggest thing with me is I don't care about your flaws. Let's figure out like where you fit and what your very best qualities are. Let's highlight those.
Yeah.
And because those things that make you different or flawed are the things that make you great too. So like
Hmm.
just finding out those ways of using your best qualities. So from Paul Heyman, Lance was he was such like he was such a phenomenal teacher when I was down in OVW.
Hmm.
Um, with in-ring psychology, like that, that was so helpful back then. Finley, of course. I was always amazed what he could do with 3-minute matches to get over whatever storyline we were supposed to tell at the time. Like it was insane to me. I mean, Nikki has been a mind in this industry for a very long time. You follow her career and like the way she came back to the indies after her first WWE run and built up all these indie girls that are now, on top of their game, like uh, those type of people, not just people in management, but just people that are great leaders.
Yeah, people who talked, and I know it's cliche to say, but people who taught you about the business, quote unquote, correct?
Yeah, I mean, taught me about what the business could be.
Okay.
Because the way that the business was when I got into it was not, no, there's no place in this world for that way of doing business, but the
Hmm.
way that things are trending is exciting. And the dream for the business is really exciting.
What are some of your goals as far as your role with the board of directors goes? You've talked about growing the women's division, but is there anything specific? Would you want, a women's specific Wednesday show even past this? Or what are some of your goals as far as your role?
I do hope to continue the Wednesday show as long as we can. I believe that it's possible. Of course, like we got to watch COVID and all that stuff. So I don't want to make any promises. Like,
Yeah.
if anything, if we've learned anything, like with this year and last year, you don't know what's going to
And
happen.
then
But
stuff for 2025, and those are when we'll start guaranteeing things again.
yeah, like I don't want to do all that. It's crazy talk. So I would love to continue the women's show. I think that there's a plenty of talented women out there that could carry a show or 5 shows. Like it's definitely something that I would like to continue pushing. I would like to start to chip away at the wrestling mainstream divide,
Yeah.
as far as women, because I feel like so many women that don't necessarily watch wrestling could be very excited about how empowering it is to see these
Yeah.
women fighting for what they believe in, how athletic they are, how driven they are. So I would like to start kind of chipping away at that a little bit, if possible. Love to crown a new women's champ. We're going to do it later on this year. Would like to build a very stable, sturdy division that also has the room to like ebb and flow where more women can come in and out and wrestle and we can have the very best.
Cool.
So I mean, those are some of the goals, but I'm always learning something new. I definitely am learning from this experience of having women on the YouTube channel, because YouTube is a place that anybody can go to. And I think that's really exciting because you know where it is, you can find it anytime, and there, you just turn it on. There it is. So I'm learning a lot through that experience. I also love the idea of women supporting women. And I've loved what I've seen. The girls like Roxy that we announced are in the tournament. Like, she, all of a sudden, this slew of other wrestlers that I haven't talked to, women wrestlers, men wrestlers, that are congratulating her. This to me is the most exciting piece to the puzzle, is if we can support each other in that way, we have a much better chance of building up this women's division.
Completely agree. And one other individual that I do specifically have to ask on, and I'm certain you won't be able to tell me either way, but every Monday I notice that LuFisto's out there tweeting about Watch ROH. And I also know that you've talked very, very highly of her in the past. So maybe again, take me through her influence on women's wrestling and yourself specifically. But is there maybe some room for a good Canadian in the ROH women's division?
All right, this is another COVID thing. So COVID has put a lot of dampers on a lot of things. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That is the honest to goodness truth. I just don't know. Do I think that she's an asset to women's wrestling? Of course I do. I think that she is one of the best kept secrets in women's wrestling ever. She is highly talented, been in the ring with so many talented women, helped the careers of so many women. And I think now is a fantastic opportunity for her to shine. Mm-hmm. Can that be possible? I don't know.
Yeah.
If I could have like a magic wand and like be like, and you're in the tournament. Yes. Yes, that's great. Maybe we should call Harry Potter. But
I was going to say, it turns into a lot more than a 16-person bracket at that point too.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have 32, but it's not going to happen. If I had all the international girls, I'd be pulling from all over, but I can't. I don't know. So We'll just keep it as I don't know. I'm trying really hard to get, but I can't fight the government. So like, it is what it is.
I've heard it tends to go pretty poorly from all of the stuff that's occurred over the last little bit, but I digress. On LuFisto's end of things, it's kind of fun for me as well, the comparison that I think it was 2-3 years ago, she announced she was retiring, went on a tour, and here we are 3 years later as most retirements go in pro wrestling. You've sort of been coy on that end. You've said you'll step in if, the ROH universe or the ROH fans get you in there, but you've also said you're happy to let other women wrestle. So I'm going to ask for the hard answer. Are you getting back in the ring sooner rather than later, or are you still very much on the soft retired end of things, I suppose?
No, I don't foresee me getting in the ring. It would have to take like some kind of earth shattering thing to happen. I mean, it's just not in the cards for me. There's too many other talented women. I just, no, I watch myself in the ring. I wouldn't hire me. So why would I put myself in the ring? No, as far as wrestling, I don't see myself, in the ring with the girls of today. Angelina Love, perfect. Like, she's fantastic in the ring. The match is going to be awesome between her and Quinn. Like, you've got a veteran versus a newcomer. You've got that old school, like, veteranism versus the new school interviewer coming into, like, it is just, yeah. I mean, that's going to be awesome. Angelina does a great job at it. Me, no. I am like a weird spider lady in the ring. And like, my arms are going and my legs are going a different, no. If I can help it, no.
It was a wonderful description. I mean, certainly not one I agree with for what it's worth, but I appreciate the enthusiasm.
I can't help myself.
It was well done. Just as I appreciate how much time you took for me today, outside of waving arms, you just were, it's great to talk to you. I can't say enough about that end of things. Maria, I was going to ask you, but you sort of gave it there, but give me your 60-second elevator pitch. Why should people be tuning in, not just on Wednesday, but this summer when Ring of Honor brings their women's #1 contender tournaments to your screens?
It's the future. It's the future of women's wrestling. It isn't a specific category. It's all categories. It's everything from lucha to technical to grappling to high flying to everything. It's motivation and integrity and dedication and old school and new school and moms and sisters and wives and just young people that are super enthusiastic about the industry. And that is something to be excited for. There is no one thing that you can call a woman, and it goes the same way for this tournament. There isn't one type of woman. There is a million different types of women, and this is going to be the very best of them.
If you guys aren't sold after that, I quite frankly do not know what to tell you. There is no helping you, because I can tell you I was excited after the last 2 editions of WDW, but I'm that much more excited for the next little bit, especially after getting the opportunity to chat to a legend of the professional wrestling industry. I don't use that word lightly, but it is certainly one that applies to Maria Kanellis-Bennett, the first lady of pro wrestling. It was fantastic to chat with you today. If people want the opportunity to do so online through social media, or of course, keep track of Ring of Honor itself, where can they do so?
On Twitter, it's Maria L. Kanellis. On Instagram, it's Maria Kanellis. On Facebook, it's official Maria Kanellis, but I don't pay much attention to my Facebook. I have a Patreon account. Watch Ring of Honor television. Watch Ring of Honor on YouTube. Women's Division Wednesday is every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Check it out. I will be there in the comment section, as I hope that you guys are. If not this Wednesday, then sooner rather than later.
I'm trying to
there
figure
we go.
I'm like, am I answering the right person? Yeah.
Or you and I are both in that same boat. Like, figuring out the video streaming end of things has been like the first time I've really felt old in my life. Like, what's a Twitch is a sentence I've said in my life, and it's embarrassing when you've got 3 younger brothers that are very active on it.
I need to do the Twitch. I need to. I keep saying it, but with 2 babies, and then my new wrestling baby, and Mike is another baby on its own. Like, I have too many other things, but Twitch will happen at some point.
I was going to say, there's a little bit of everything. You've always said that you'll add a little bit more when the time's right. So when that Twitch channel comes up, let me know. We'll have you back on here, and hopefully by then we'll have some advice to swap back and forth, because I can tell you it'll be a while before I actually get any advice to pass on. Either way, we can talk about that forever. Maria, thank you once again for hopping on. And friends, thank you once again for tuning into another interview here on Love Wrestling. Stick around for more guests. Hopefully I figure out how to get them on Twitch here sooner rather than later, because they're all great. They're all worth it, just as Ring of Honor will be this Wednesday. Thank you again, friends. We'll see you soon.